Hello and welcome to my channel. For those who have been following us on our Senzo Meyiwa murder trial videos, do you still remember in a stunning twist during the trial, police officer Patrick Mtetwa made a shocking confession, revealing a disturbing level of negligence surrounding the crime scene. When Advocate Mshalolo exposed the critical moments when the late Bafana captain's murder site was left unattended and vulnerable for an extended period, hindering the investigation. When one of the witnesses, Sylvia Ngobeni, informed the court that she found Julia Masia and Maggie Phiri cleaning the crime scene before the police cordoned the scene off. Well, in this video we bring you the analysis of what was not done and should have been done that I feel that any fair trial court could probably rule this case a mistrial. I came across an article written by the great author Jennifer Chase. The article gives us some detailed 9 key steps for a successful crime scene investigation. I now remember the legendary author James Hadley Chase. Do you remember how the cookie crumbles? Well, now my pretty Ma-Grison and the boys. I couldn't wait to share it with you, my fellow crime enthusiasts. My name is Sigo. And this is Sigo's This, That, and Tours. Please do not forget to subscribe for more our hilarious videos. Now, without much ado, here are the crucial 9 key steps. To perform a successful crime scene investigation, there are a myriad of individual procedures used by investigators. And, of course, different crimes call for specific methods. Despite, however, the various tactics and circumstances, individual investigators generally utilize the following 9 universal steps in order to conduct a fruitful and efficient crime scene investigation. Number 1. Establish scene dimensions / identify potential hazards. An investigator must initially locate the main area of the disturbance, i.e. the focal point of the crime. This could be a ransacked living room, a traffic intersection where a collision occurred, or a remote part of nature where a murder took place. Once the focal point has been ascertained, the investigator creates a radius of the area in which all the immediate, relevant physical evidence may be present. It behooves the investigator to create a relatively large radius, due to the fact that it is much easier to later condense the crime scene than enlarge it. It would be detrimental to the investigation if the area was too small, and crucial evidence outside of the area was compromised by onlookers or the media. In addition to establishing the focal point's radius, the investigator must identify the potential areas of ingress and egress of the criminal. The safety of all people in the area must also be taken into consideration. Therefore, any sort of hazardous materials, weapons or intentional traps must be identified. Number 2. Secure the perimeter. Every single person who enters and exits the crime scene will add or subtract a crucial material from the crime scene. Thus, it is vital that the lead investigator secure the area as quickly as possible. In order to control access, the scene is generally cordoned off with yellow crime scene tape or other methods, such as rope or cones. Further, an entrance is established for all personnel to use when entering and exiting the scene. Once the common entryway has been created, all people who enter and leave the area must be documented. For larger and more complex crime scenes, additional consultation and evidence storage areas may be created. Number 3. Organize and communicate. Prior to the collection of evidence, the crime scene investigators must develop a theory concerning what exactly transpired at the scene. Once the team has a working knowledge of what type of crime occurred, the investigators will be more prepared to anticipate what kind of evidence may be present. A method for developing the crime theory is to interview witnesses, or persons of interest. Once the investigators have obtained sufficient information, the team will develop their strategy for collecting evidence. Number 4. Perform initial survey of scene. A preliminary crime scene survey is performed in an effort to prioritize the collection of evidence. While conducting the scene walkthrough, the lead investigator will identify and take photos of important evidence. Investigators will also document certain aspects of the crime scene, so that the scene conditions are properly captured. For example, the investigators will note weather conditions, the exact position of items such as furniture, the presence of any smells, and whether the lights were on or off. Before we go to number 5, let's catch up with this clip.
Mr. Mthetho, you remember the statement which I read into the record, which was made by Miss Sylvia Ngobeni.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with paragraph 13. Okay, sorry, my lord, just paragraph 8. Paragraph 8 of the statement, wherein it says, I saw Senzo BMW reversing out of the Khumalo's gate and drove away. I couldn't see the occupants. I then proceeded to Khumalo Yard, where I found my daughter, who she was carrying Tingo, Kelly's daughter. There was also some other neighbors I could remember, Julia Masia and Maggie Phiri.
Umama Ngobeni lo ukuthi wayibona ke BMW kaSenzo iphuma khona ke kwaKhumalo akazange ababona ukuthi ubani babengaphakathi wase eya khona ke kwaKhumalo wathola indodakazi yakhe uGugu ephethe ingane kaKelly uThingo kwakunabanye omakhelwane abakhumbulayo uJulia Masia kanye noMaggie Phiri.
The reason why I'm referring you to this paragraph is to show you that there are people who remained inside the premises before your arrival, immediately after the deceased was taken out to the hospital.
Imbangela ke ukuthi ngikufundeleke yona le paragraph ukutshengisa ukuthi kunabantu abangena egcekeni la kwaKhumalo nje emuva kokuthi bamthatha umufi bemhambisa esibhedlela.
Okay. Okay. Do you hear that? Yes. And also that Mr. Themba Khumalo is not the only person who was left at the scene when the deceased was taken to the hospital.
Nokuthi ke ubaba uThemba Khumalo akusiyena uphela umuntu owasala khona lapha yana ke nkathi bemhambisa umufi ke beya naye esibhedlela. Yes.
And that there are people who had access into the crime scene, even into the house, when they cleaned the house.
Nokuthi ke bakhona ke noma babe khona abantu abakwazi ke ukuthi bangene ngaphakathi endlini nokuthi futhi baze baqine.
Okay. You hear that? Okay. And let's go again to paragraph 13, which says, my lord, the reason I went into the house is because I wanted to see what happened in the house. When we were in the house, I saw water on the floor and the passage near the toilet door. I was amazed to see the water on the floor. Do you see that?
Nokuthi ke imbangela yokuthi ngingene phakathi endlini kwakuwukuthi ngangifisa ukubona ukuthi kwenzekani lapho nokuthi inkathi sengiphakathi ke endlini ngabona amanzi ke phansi ku passage eduze nomnyango wase toilet kwangimangaza ke ukuthi ngibone amanzi phansi uma ngangazi ke ukuthi kwakunomuntu owayedutshuliwe khona lapho.
And yet when you arrived, you also left the crime scene unattended by the police.
Nokuthi ke inkathi nifika nina nathi uma nihamba ke nahamba isini leyo nayishiya ke ingagadiwe. Okay.
Paragraph 15. Maggie Phiri started to pick up. I've read this paragraph, my lord. Thank you. Maggie Phiri started to pick up the empties from the floor. I asked her why she's tidying up before the police could arrive at the scene. Maggie responded that she doesn't want the police to see that the people who were inside the house were drinking.
Now, let us continue with the remaining steps. Number 5, process the scene. After the plan has been established and the initial survey has been performed, the crime scene investigators conduct a diligent, thorough and coordinated investigation of the scene. At that time, the team will collect all probative evidence. The collection of evidence includes the proper digital documentation of the scene and evidence, which also may include 3D scanners, diagrams, models and sketches. While the collection of evidence is being conducted, it is vital that all investigators follow strict protocol in the collection, packaging and preservation of the evidence. If the integrity of any of the evidence is compromised, it could hinder the investigation and eventual prosecution. Number 6. Conduct second walkthrough. For quality control purposes, a secondary walkthrough is conducted by the lead investigator so as to ensure that the entire crime scene has been thoroughly searched. Number 7. Preserve and record evidence. In order to ensure that all collected evidence has been documented, the investigation team will create an inventory log. Each piece of evidence is described in the log, and such description must match the photo of the evidence and the crime scene report description. The evidence log and crime scene report establishes the chain of custody, which will follow the evidence throughout the duration of the case. Number 8. Perform final survey. The final survey allows the investigators to conduct a critical review of all aspects of the crime scene investigation. Each team member participates in the final survey to ensure that no inadvertent errors are found in the documentation, and that the paper trail is thorough, accurate and complete. One last search of the area is performed to ensure evidence was not overlooked in hidden or hard-to-access sections of the crime scene. Number 9. Release crime scene. Once the final survey has been completed, the lead investigator or other authorized persons may release the crime scene. Oftentimes, in order to gain re-entry to a release crime scene, a warrant is required. Thanks for watching. Please hit the join button and become a full-time member of this channel. Your financial contribution will be highly appreciated. Let us grow this channel together. We urgently need funds to buy latest equipment to upgrade our studio. You can also hit the thanks button to donate a sum of 14 rands only. Till then, cheerio.